Hello and welcome everybody to Flicker Effect and our spoiler review of the first 3 episodes of The Boys season 3, which is now available on Amazon Prime. I'm David Lott. Joining me is Bobby Jackson and Michelle
Hey,
Hillard. How's it going, guys?
good. It's
Hello.
great. How's it going?
It's pretty good. It's
Very
pretty
good.
good.
Back to doing it.
What's that?
I said just back to doing it. We've been off for
Yeah.
a little
Yeah,
bit,
we had a
so
little
we're back.
break. We'll get
Well, there was a little break where you two hung out together.
yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
be
We'll talk about
clear.
that probably more a little bit in another episode when we talk about
Mm.
Obi-Wan. But right now we're going to talk about The Boys. Season 3 is here. Episodes 1 through 3 all dropped at the same time on Amazon Prime this past Friday, right?
Yeah.
I say right because I'm completely thrown off. Like you said, Michelle, I was out of town. Star Wars Celebration happened. Things
Time
happened.
zones, all
I'm
the
completely
things.
thrown off. But yeah, we're going to talk about those first 3 episodes. We're going to talk about spoilers and all. So if you haven't watched those 3 episodes yet, just so
What are
you
you
know,
doing?
here's your spoiler warning. And yeah, what are you doing? Get to it. What did you guys think so far? Michelle, we'll start with you. What do you think?
Immediately thrown into the fire.
Yeah.
So I mean, we all know The Boys is just, it pushes all the boundaries. It is out there. It does not apologize. It's very unapologetic for absolutely anything it does. And knowing how the show is, it's like you just kind of go, okay, I'm open to expecting the unexpected, and yet it still is shocking sometimes. And I mean, this season started out and it held back no punches. And so far, season 3, I'm enjoying it. There is a part of me that's wondering if they're pushing it too far beyond the boundaries of me going, well, I'm enjoying this, to go, are they just doing this just for the ick or the whoa factor? Like, are they just doing this just for me to go, whoa, 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 whoa? Which kind of pulls me out of the story sometimes a little bit. It just kind of depends on what it is. And some of it's just really funny because you're like, oh wow, that's disgusting and intense, but it's hilarious. So I feel like I'm kind of ping ponging back and forth on enjoyment to almost like, it's just they're jumping the shark kind of thing, which is hard to do with The Boys. So no, I'm liking it. I will say, like, I think I like the way the story is going. With Soldier Boy and everything that's kind of going on with that, and then the fact that they have the serum out there for people to be able to, well, it's not out there yet, but like Billy has the serum. He can turn into a soup for like 24 hours if he wants to. It's interesting. And I think it really maybe not reevaluates. I think it shifts his perspectives a little bit. And I think it's going to continue to shift more and more as the season goes on, because he still has like 2 more vials.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting, because I think it's really opening his mind to what he can and cannot do when he's on that stuff. And I think it makes him question a lot of things. And obviously the repercussions of taking the serum are a little intense. But yeah, no, I would say overall I'm enjoying it, but I feel like there are a few moments I'm like, they're just, this is almost over the line of like, this isn't even enjoyable. They're just doing this to be shocking, and it's not even like an enjoyable shock. It's just like, it's just shock to shock. And that's not enjoyable for me. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I still like The Boys, and I think, like I said, the story is interesting enough. I'm definitely involved in it. It'll be curious to see how it goes the next couple episodes. There's, what did we say, 8 episodes?
Yeah, there's 8 episodes.
So we have 5 more episodes to go.
Yeah.
I know there's an episode that's a musical episode. That'll be interesting.
I hadn't heard that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Oh, spoiler alert. There's a musical episode.
Okay.
That'll be interesting. Yeah, that's about all I got. I don't know. I'm curious to see how it evolves. I'm too invested now to not see how this story continues on. Sorry, that was very long.
Bobby, what do you think so far? Is it jumping the shark for you? Is it's a little over the top for you?
No. Short answer. You know what? It's what I expected. I did remember reading the comics back in the day, and it's just as shocking, if not more so, to a certain degree. And certain things have been toned down for the series. And I only read so far, so I imagine anything that we're seeing now, I never got to that far in the comics. So I feel like for me, the series pushes the envelope for sure, and it definitely does things that are quite shocking. But I still feel like at the end of the day that there's a reason that they're showing the things that they show in this series, and they have a narrative purpose to it. So I feel like the story has been super engaging to where when those moments happen, they throw you off your game a little bit because you're not expecting that, because a lot of times you're just sort of riding along with the story. And everyone in this show, I feel like, one, acts well within the series, but two, I there's no plots in this story that I'm like, oh, I wish we'd get back to the other story. Like, I'm interested in everybody's subplots and everything that's going on. Whereas another series I started watching over the weekend, when they would cut away to certain things, I wish that they went back to the other thing because I wasn't enjoying some of the other subplots as well. So I think they do such a good job of telling this story, and I take that and give all that credit to the showrunner Eric Kripke, who did a fantastic job in the seasons that he used to do for Supernatural before he left that series, and it kept going on for another 6 or 7 seasons after he left. So I know he knows how to tell a good story and good compelling story. So that's what keeps me invested, is because I'm invested in these characters, and they do things that it sometimes are horrific and shocking, but at the same time they do things that make you say, okay, there's some redeeming factors there. And let's see if this character will eventually find their way in a sort of a Game of Thrones kind of way, where you hate a character and then over time they start to change and evolve and grow. And then you're all of a sudden like, wow, I remember when I couldn't stand that character and I wish that they killed him off. And now look at me kind of rooting for this character. So I'm curious to see if there will be any arcs like that with certain characters, or if they'll just be bad the whole way through, or if some good will go bad. Who knows? But I so am into the show that it's, for me, probably of everything that we've gotten recently, I think this is probably my favorite 3 episodes start of a season series so far since Peacemaker. And I really love Peacemaker. So I this is like right in the wheelhouse for me. It feels like it hasn't lost a step since last season, and I'm anxious to see the rest of the episodes this season.
I can agree with what you just said about like it being the best 3 first episodes of a season since Peacemaker. I would agree with that for sure.
Yeah, and same here. Part of me wish I could have rewatched like at least part of season 2 or like all of season 2
Yeah.
before this started, because there's a part of me that, I mean, how long has it been now? Has it just been a year, or has it been? I feel like it's been longer.
I feel like it might be longer.
Maybe slightly more, but not
I
too
think
much more. It's not doing a whole 2 years off like some of
right,
the other
like
series
some
that
other
we like.
shows.
Yeah.
I think I knew it just felt like that, but I had a feeling it hadn't been really any longer than a year. But for some reason, even though I remember season 2 fairly well, there was a part of me that's like, oh man, I feel like I need a little refresher course more than just whatever they're going to throw in front of episode 1 of this season as a, previously
Recap.
on kind of
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, like that first 10 minutes of that first episode, first 10 or 15 minutes definitely gives you a quick refresher of, hey, you remember the kind of show that this is? Well, this is
Yeah.
the kind of show this is. I will say I kind of agree with you, Bobby. There's a part of me as I watched it, Michelle, like that I was almost like, wow, I'm like, are we just seeing how far we can go? But at the same time, as I watched it, it did feel like it all had a good purpose to the overall story.
Mhm.
You know, so in one respect, it's like, oh, is this show just trying to see how far they could push the edge? But I don't know if it's just that. I think it's actually pretty good writing. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I like seeing the boys back together just as a group. I kind of like just when they're together as a group, just hanging out, and I'm enjoying just seeing their dynamic. Uh, the show is crazy, but it's a good crazy. I'm liking it so far. You know, you guys have pretty much hit the nail on the head for the most part, so I don't have much more to add. But I'm really digging it. I mean, yeah, we have a ways to go, but you know, um, our main villain in this show is just ridiculously scary, but
Yeah.
he's super complex at the same time. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's so well acted by what's his name, Anthony Starr. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anthony Starr. He's so good in it. I mean, everyone's really good in it.
They are.
The guy that plays the Deep, I don't know his name. Yeah, Chase Crawford. He's really great. I mean, this is a character that was kind of a monster asshole
He
like
was a
from the
douche.
beginning.
He was a douchebag.
And he still is, but at the same time, there's things about him that you're like you can sympathize with now. Like
there's a naivety to him,
right.
that I think he wants to believe the best still a little bit, even though he's a twat waffle.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
you know,
yeah.
yeah. But no, it's one of those things, like, it pushes the envelope, and I think they do a good job of pushing the envelope. Sometimes I feel like they really walk that line, but at the same time, like, it's a believable way they push the envelope. Like, if you think about how crazy and stupid humans are, I mean, let's be real, we're stupid. Like, let's give us a superpower and see what stupid things we would do with that. And I think they expose that. Like, of course, like, you know, like we're dumb, and we're hypersexually sexualized or sexual, and like, if you had a power, just like the first episode where you could shrink down, would you do something really weird and perverse with that thing in a sexual manner?
More than likely.
I don't think that most people would want to admit to it, but yeah, they
More than
would,
likely,
because that's
yeah.
how we are. And like, so it's one of those things, you watch that scene, you're like, this is pretty plausible. As weird as it is, it's a very plausible scene. If you were like, look, I'm gonna take you as a person. You're not perfect. You have issues. Let's give you a superpower. Just throw that little sparkle of unicorn farts on you and see what you do with it. And yeah, crazy things would ensue. And then, like, you know, we look at Homelander, and he's been given, you know, basically like the Zeus like superpowers. You know, he's given everything. He's given, I should say, he's given basically the Superman superpowers. He
is the Superman of the show. Definitely.
He has those powers, but his belief system is way effed up. And yeah, it really quickly turns Superman into a villain, and that's basically what it is. And it's scary as all get out if you think about it, you know?
Right.
Yeah, and especially in this case where this Superman doesn't yet, at least right now, have a weakness. So then what do you do against a Superman with no weakness? And
we're not making Superman, we're not making kryptonite bullets here.
No,
we don't
exactly.
know.
Right.
We don't know what the hell to do.
Don't know what to do, and it's just kind of one of those things where when a character like that feels like they're cornered, it's easy for them to lash out. Like he even says in that one episode where he's like, you know, I'd rather be loved, but I'll take being feared. And that's scary because it's you can't box him in at that point. And so it's a matter of how do you keep this guy happy in a way to where he doesn't just go ballistic. And he already had plans on how he would take everything out. So it's like kind of crazy. And I think that's what go ahead, Michelle.
No, I was just gonna say, I agree. Like when somebody says, like, you know, if I can't be loved, I'd rather just be feared. That's gloves are off, man. Yeah. Like that is like 10-time level, you know, Hitler crap. Like that is literally like, I don't really care. I think I'm a god, and I think I don't care if you love me or hate me. I can just do whatever I want. And that is very scary stuff. That's a territory unto its own.
And I
Yeah,
think
we
that's
have a
what the
super
show
villain.
does really well, is parallel that with reality and real life in ways where we've had people in leadership roles that don't tend to care what people think, and then they will follow that person because they feel like they're speaking their truth. And so then it becomes this thing where you look back and you're like, how did it all get to where we're at? And it starts like that, where someone in power is saying something that a few people who've hidden how they feel really start to feel like, now I can say what I want because someone else has said what I've always felt. And so it becomes this whole thing. And I think the thing with the deep, it's like you said, you recognize that there's slivers of good in him, and there's this naivety, and it's like he's really just a product of the system that's been created around this superhero aspect and this celebrity. And so he's doing what he thinks is the thing that you do when you have that power that's gone to your head. And so you see that side of him, but then also you see where he is seen like from another perspective, where obviously he has this ability to talk to sea creatures. And so then when we have that octopus scene, it's just like, it's horrific because you know that he knows what this creature is thinking, and it's like he has to then eat that creature, that octopus, because Homelander is getting off on his power of the ability to just do whatever he wants. And it's like, you're going to do this because I say you're going to do it. And everyone cowers in fear of him because they don't want, one, to be just killed by him, but two, they also look for his approval. And so it's interesting in all the ways that we have all these dynamics. And when you have the scene where he goes to Billy Butcher's place and the two of them are just sitting down having this conversation, it's eerie in a way, because it's like, you know, that Butcher does not fear Homelander. He knows Homelander could kill him in a second, but he doesn't care because he hates him that much. And it's like, that's when Homelander is like, in a weird sort of way, I feel like Homelander probably respects that about Butcher, but at the same time, they know that the two of them can't exist on this planet and one of them have to go, if not both. And so it's just so many different dynamics and interesting things that are going on in this world. And just to see where things go, it's pretty exciting. And I love one of the things that they don't do in this series, and that's fall into stereotypical tropes that TV shows have, where like someone has information but they don't tell anyone because they think they're protecting everyone, and so they don't tell someone something they need to know. Like in the part where Huey finds out that he's been working with someone, that the person that could explode the heads, he didn't like say, oh, I don't want to tell Butcher, and so I'm not going to tell him, and I'm going to try and deal with this on my own. No, he told him, and he was like, I know he's going to give me crap for it, but I need to share this information. Whereas in another series, they would have kept that in. And it's like, I hate that stuff. And so the characters don't act out of character. They do things that make sense. And then it's like, it moves the story forward in a natural way, that it's not like it's doing it for the sake of trying to stretch something out. So it feels
adding
organic.
2 more episodes for just adding 2 more episodes.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, no, it's interesting. Like, his only reason for possibly not actually telling Billy is because he's like, I'm gonna catch so much shit.
Yeah, exactly.
For spending a year fetching someone lattes.
Right.
Oh my God. Like, shoot me now. The crap I have to take from Billy. But I have to tell him because, like, otherwise, everything just stalls and no progression happens. It's refreshing.
Yeah.
No, it's an interesting show. Like, there's moments that are very cringe, like watching the Deep eat an octopus, even though I know it's a CGI octopus. Like, and maybe it's my own personal lifestyle beliefs, but I was definitely like, I'm having a hard time watching the scene.
Was rough.
Like, no matter what.
No matter what. But no, I mean,
his mouth, he's like, he's praying.
Rough,
it's like, oh,
he's like, he's praying, he's begging for his life. He has children. And like I was doing okay until the one actress, what's her name? The one who plays basically like the PR woman.
Mhm.
Oh
She
yeah.
literally like goes, she has like a dry heave and a
Mm.
gag reflex. I was like, oh, here I go. Oh God, here goes. I was like, I'm done now.
No, I mean the funny thing about the scene, I'll speak for you as well, Michelle. Like we both eat a plant-based diet,
Right.
and call us vegan, plant-based, whatever, doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, sometimes it's harder than other times. And there's been times I've even said, I'm like, oh man, if people ask you like, oh, is there anything you miss? And there's times where I'm like, I don't really miss meat, but I sometimes miss seafood. And I'm like,
Like sushi.
maybe one day I could see like, oh man, if I had to, maybe I'd be like pescatarian instead and just start taking on some seafood. And then I watched that scene. And even before the octopus part, like him having to watch everyone else eat like
Eat the
oysters
lobster and stuff
and
like
then,
that.
of
Yeah.
course,
Lobster.
they shot it in a way to just make it as disgusting as possible.
Oh, yeah.
Like the way everyone's
Oh, yeah.
eating. And even before he had to eat the octopus, I'm watching it going, oh God, no,
I was
I'm
like,
good.
I'm out.
Like I'm never eating seafood again. And yeah, the octopus scene just made it that much worse. Like, oh God.
Like he like cracks the lobster. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh. I'm like, I don't know if I could do this. like any like thoughts of like, well, maybe if I did a trip to Italy, I'd go pescatarian. I'm like, no,
No, I'm good.
I'm okay. It's cool. I'm good.
That was pretty rough.
Well, it was a rough scene. It was a rough scene for everyone. I think it just was.
Yeah.
Again, it's like I know it's a CGI octopus. I know that.
Oh,
But the
still,
show is done so well,
yeah.
it makes you get in your head about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that speaks to the quality of the show.
Right.
But I feel like we need to talk about Billy real quick, and I feel like we need to talk about Soldier Boy.
Okay. What do you want to say?
Well, I'll talk about Billy a little bit. I think Billy is in a very interesting quandary with himself. I think he, having now taken the super serum and having an experience with it, good and bad, as we all saw, there's a hell of a hangover to that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's not sure where he lands on this whole superhero powers thing anymore. I think he was very like, people shouldn't have powers. People should not be gods. Like, I don't think this is right. Like, it really causes a lot of issues. And I think he had a very kind of cut and dry about the whole situation. And I think now he's entered into this lovely little gray zone because he's experienced it and he has felt what it feels like to have that strength and that power and to know like he's untouchable, almost completely untouchable at this moment. And I think it raises a lot of issues for him in his head. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out for this season.
So you think it's not just a matter of
a means to an end.
Like, hey, the only way to defeat Homelander is to use this, and otherwise I have no interest. But you're also seeing it like he's tasting a power that.
I think it started out with this is a means to an end,
right?
But then he took it, and you can see in that scene where he takes care of gunpowder. Is it?
I don't remember his name.
The sidekick to
Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy.
Oh, okay.
Where he kind of takes him out, and he winds up going a little overkill on that. But there's a moment at the end. There's almost a shot of him with a pleasure look, and then he pulls it back. Like, wait a second, and then. It's like he kind of replays the scene later on down the road in his head, and you could tell he's kind of like, you could tell like there's a sense of him of like, I did enjoy that. I feel like crap right now, but there's like, I enjoyed that, but the rest of it I don't like. And so I think now he's had the taste, and I think now it's going to start really conflicting with him.
Right. And we don't know all the effects of that either, that V24, because who knows,
Right.
it could be very addicting, and he might not be able to stop it even if
Well,
he wants
well,
to.
yeah. Look
So
at A Train. He was addicted to it. To
yeah,
the
the
booster.
compound V.
The
Yeah,
booster.
so
Yeah.
Compound V, yeah.
so it definitely could be repercussions of actually taking that we have yet to see, and it will be an interesting development to see how they go, because there's so many different ways they can go with that storyline
Right.
based on everything else that they have going on. Michelle, you said you also wanted to mention Soldier Boy.
A little bit about Soldier Boy. Like, I find it very interesting as a whole of him as a character, because it sounds like he was basically he's the Captain America,
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah. The payback team is like the Avengers, and the Seven
Yeah.
is basically Justice League.
Right. And so you get this little kind of Captain America kind of guy. And to everybody's knowledge, he's pretty untouchable, like unstoppable, incapable of being defeated. Like, he's not aging. Like, he has all the fun little things in life. And then apparently the Russians have a tool to kill him. And it's like you watching the story unfold, and I'm like, oh, wow. This is super, super shady. The Russians took off with Soldier Boy's body. I'm like, there's nothing good that can come from this. Absolutely nothing. He's either A, still alive, or B, the other worst case scenario is they've just dissected the hell out of him.
I mean, do we
and
really
everything
have
out of
any
him.
doubt that he's still alive?
Zero.
He's
I mean,
definitely
like,
still
well, I
alive.
mean, like, I'm saying, like, I am 99% sure he's alive. And even
Yeah.
if he was dead, they dissected the hell out of that guy and extracted any information they could have out of his body. And that's if he actually was dead, which I highly, 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 highly doubt.
Yeah.
And so there's a part of me that's just like, I'm like, I can't wait for the shit show to start.
Right.
Like, the moment that he shows up, I think I almost am going to want to cheer, because I'm so excited to see how it's going to play out. Is it going to play out that he's going to be with Homelander or against Homelander? Or what is the dynamic that is going to develop? And I can't wait to see that, because I'm like, it's a coin toss. It's a coin toss to me in my head. I'm like, I'm not saying he's a good guy. I'm just saying he's either going to be like, yeah, me and Homelander should team up, or he's going to be like, oh, wow, no, F you, dude. You need to die, and I need to be back in charge. Or I'm far superior to you, Homelander. Screw you. I'm going to be back in charge. I don't know. But, like, I'm excited to see that play out. That's going to be a thing.
I agree. I mean, it feels like kind of where we're headed, other than the dynamic between Homelander and Billy Butcher.
Right.
That seems to be the other place we're headed for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be a fun season, I think, overall.
Oh, yeah.
And new episodes drop every Friday, right? So,
yeah.
Friday.
At least it's something not on Wednesday. Because like starting this week, we got 2 shows on Wednesdays, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so much stuff.
So many things.
Yeah.
We're going to be recording for 3 hours next week when we.
And Jurassic World comes out.
Oh my God!
Friday.
Oh God!
Is that this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't even have tickets for that. I gotta get tickets for that.
Oh God!
Yeah.
No, we haven't. Wow, we've
No.
been slacking.
Yeah.
Man, you leave this time zone, and it's like we forget all of our priorities.
I'm thrown. But no, it sounds like we're all enjoying The Boys. Yeah, what do we got? 5 episodes to go. Dropping every Friday. I'm sure we'll keep up with it here on the show. Anybody got anything else before we wrap up?
I did want to mention one of the things that I'm hoping we see more of this season is Queen Maeve. I know she doesn't seem to get as much spotlight as the other characters do on the show, so I do hope we get a little bit more of her this year, this season. And I can't remember, and that's one thing which you mentioned, David, that I kind of wish I did do. I don't remember if they killed Black Noir last season or if he was still alive, because I know they gave him the Queen Maeve fed him those nuts because he has the nut allergy, but I don't remember if he died or not. So I'm kind of curious where he's at, if he is still alive, and if he's dead, then so be it. But
I'll be honest, I kind of
I
forgot.
kind of forgot. I mean, I remember that she gave him basically like a payday or something. Still just a
yeah,
peanuts.
something. Yeah.
But I have a hard time believing that he's dead. Just because
Yeah.
Black Noir seems to take some hits, as we saw in the last episode.
Yeah.
Somehow he survives a ridiculous amount of stuff. So yeah,
Suppose he could still be alive, but I feel like maybe they were playing it as though he's dead, because they did have one thing that we didn't mention about this season, is that there was the 2 open slots, one from Stormfront and also, I guess, Black Noir, because they had this whole competition that's sort of like a Bachelorette or America's Got Talent or something, for superheroes to audition to be part of the seven. Yeah, and we had 2 people that were able to fill that role. So yeah, that's why I'm like, oh, they're treating it like he's dead, but I don't know that that's the
case. I guess I hadn't thought about that, like the math of it.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Be exciting to see. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap things up. As always, we'd love to hear back from everyone watching. Let us know what you think of the show so far. And you can leave questions and comments right down below on YouTube. Make sure to like and subscribe, hit that bell icon to be notified whenever we go live in the future. You can also reach out to us on Twitter and Instagram at @Flicker_effect. I'm David Lott.
I'm Bobby Jackson.
And I'm Michelle Hillard.
Thanks for watching.